Ferrari didn't lose Singapore in the corners, they lost it before the tyres even touched the track. In the shadows of Marina Bay, Lewis Hamilton uncovered what Ferrari refuses to admit, a flaw hidden in plain sight. Not in the setup, not in the engine, in the way the team leaves the garage, the ritual that looks calm and controlled but quietly kills performance before a single lap begins. Because in Formula One, heat is life, and Ferrari keeps freezing itself to death. After qualifying only 6th for the first time ever outside the top 5 in Singapore, Hamilton broke the silence. His tone wasn't angry, it was analytical, controlled, dangerous. He spoke of tyre temperatures, pit lane queues, and seconds lost while others raced to the line. And behind those words, there was a message to the factory. We're losing every weekend before we even start. This wasn't frustration, it was revelation, the kind that turns an engineering flaw into a political one. Singapore's night air was heavy, humid, the kind that turns every mistake into a headline. Ferrari arrived with quiet optimism. The car looked sharp in free practice, balanced through the corners, stable under braking. On paper, they had the pace for the front row, but under the lights, the numbers collapsed. Hamilton's Ferrari lined up only 6th. It was the first time in his career he'd ever qualified outside the top 5 at Marina Bay. Leclerc didn't fare much better. Both drivers left the garage late, stuck deep in the queue, crawling down the pit lane. In modern F1, that queue isn't harmless. It's a slow bleed of temperature, tyres cooling degree by degree while others are already warming theirs. By the time Hamilton reached the line to start his lap, the heat had drained away, the grip gone with it. On the radio, the tone was restrained. In Hamilton's garage, it wasn't confusion, it was recognition. He knew exactly what went wrong, and that it wasn't just a Singapore problem, it was a Ferrari problem. After the session, Hamilton didn't talk about luck or balance, he talked about physics and responsibility. We're losing temperature, he said, maybe 5-6 degrees, it happens every weekend. That number might sound small, but in Formula One, it's a death sentence. Tyres are living systems. They breathe, heat, and grip in a narrow window of perfection. Lose that heat sitting still in the pit lane, and you don't start a lap, you chase one. Hamilton explained what few dared to notice. Ferrari's position at the back of most pit lanes means they're often last to roll out. The longer the wait, the colder the tyres. And to recover that temperature on the outlap, the driver must push harder. Burning grip he will need seconds later. It's not just inefficiency, it's sabotage by procedure. A systemic flaw that no one inside Ferrari seems ready to acknowledge. And that's what made Hamilton's tone so sharp. He wasn't criticizing performance, he was exposing process. The kind of mistake that defines an organization's mindset more than its speed. Ferrari's weakness isn't a single mistake, it's structural. Their pit box sits near the end of most pit lanes, a detail often ignored by fans but not by engineers. It means that when qualifying reaches its boiling point, Ferrari are forced to wait. While Red Bull, Mercedes and McLaren release their cars early into clean air, Ferrari's drivers sit motionless, engines humming, tyres dying. That waiting kills rhythm. Each second in line drains precious surface heat from the tyres. When the car finally leaves the pit, the numbers on the dash tell the story. 5-6 degrees gone. And in modern Formula One, that's the difference between grip and glide, between pole and P6. Inside the team, it's treated as just logistics. But Hamilton doesn't see logistics, he sees consequences. Every weekend, the same ritual repeats. Ferrari engineers calmly queue, confident in the system, while the stopwatch quietly condemns them. Because at this level, organization is performance. And Ferrari's own order, the discipline it worships, is now the very thing that's holding it back. When Hamilton spoke, Ferrari didn't answer. No denial, no defense, only silence. Fred Vasseur faced the microphones with the same calm detachment that has become his trademark. He talked about procedure, about timing, about small margins. But not once did he mention what Hamilton had uncovered, a flaw in the team's DNA. Inside Maranello, hierarchy protects silence. Engineers follow instructions, not instincts. Strategy meetings last longer than qualifying sessions. And when a 7-time world champion dares to question the process, the default response is containment, not correction. Hamilton's words were never about blame, they were a warning. He has seen this pattern before, at Mercedes, when bureaucracy almost suffocated innovation. But at Ferrari, the resistance feels cultural. They will adjust the car, tweak the software, recheck the data, yet refuse to change the habit that cost them most, waiting. In Singapore, Hamilton didn't expose a mistake. He exposed a mentality, one that fears adaptation more than failure. This wasn't an isolated slip in Singapore, it was a pattern, another chapter in Ferrari's book of self-inflicted wounds. The tyre temperature problem fits perfectly into a season defined by hesitation, the slow radio calls in Bahrain, the pit wall confusion in Miami, the fuel weight miscalculations in Imola. Different races, same fingerprint, delay, doubt, denial. Ferrari's process obsession creates predictability. Every mistake looks the same because it comes from the same place. Fear of being wrong. The team that once ruled Formula One now fears improvisation more than defeat, and Hamilton sees it. He recognizes the rhythm, the same way he saw Mercedes slipping into bureaucracy before he left. He now senses Ferrari drowning in ritual. The irony? Ferrari prides itself on precision, yet its precision keeps it blind. When Hamilton spoke of tyre temperature, he wasn't talking about physics. He was talking about courage, the courage to change the sequence, to release the car early, to trust instinct over order. And that's the civil war beginning to form between Ferrari's habit of control and Hamilton's instinct to lead. For Hamilton, the pit lane is not just a cue, it's a mirror, a reflection of how a team thinks under pressure. Ferrari waits because it's afraid of chaos. Hamilton thrives in it. Where others see risk, he sees opportunity. That's why his words about tyre temperature cut deeper than data. He wasn't talking about degrees, he was talking about mindset. At Mercedes, he turned disorder into dominance. Strategy meetings bent around his feel for grip, timing, and rhythm. But in Red, he's found a team built on control, not flow. For Ferrari, order is safety. For Hamilton, order without adaptation is defeat. That's the clash now defining this partnership. A 7-time champion who reads races like chessboards, surrounded by engineers who measure courage with stopwatches. His calm tone after qualifying wasn't resignation, it was diagnosis. He knows the disease and he knows how to cure it. The question is whether Ferrari will let the doctor operate or bury the problem under tradition. Hamilton's words didn't just echo inside Ferrari's walls, they rippled through the paddock. Rival engineers understood instantly what he meant. You could see it in the smirks, the quiet nods. Red Bull's strategists joked that Ferrari were cooling their own tyres on purpose. At Mercedes, some whispered that Lewis had done it again, turning observation into leverage. Even McLaren insiders admitted off-record he's already rewriting their workflow from inside. Because in Formula One, perception becomes truth. When the paddock believes a team is mismanaging itself, that belief takes on a life of its own. Sponsors sense weakness, rivals circle, and journalists begin to watch every move with sharper eyes. Ferrari thought it was controlling the narrative by staying silent, but Hamilton's calm explanation became the story. He didn't attack, he revealed. That's far more dangerous. It makes him sound like the adult in a room full of excuses. And now, every time Ferrari waits at the pit lane, the world will wonder, are they following a plan or exposing their flaw again? Singapore may fade in the standings, but not in memory. What Hamilton revealed can't be undone, because it wasn't about one lap or one mistake. It was about how Ferrari thinks. And from now on, every qualifying session will be a referendum on that mindset. In Suzuka, in Austin, in every circuit ahead, Ferrari faces a choice, adapt or repeat. Keep waiting in the pit lane, watching tyre heat vanish, or trust the man who sees patterns others miss. Hamilton has already diagnosed the weakness. The question is whether Ferrari dares to let him fix it, because this battle is no longer technical, it's cultural. It's about who defines Ferrari's identity, the engineers who protect the past or the driver building its future. So what do you think? Did Hamilton expose a flaw Ferrari refuses to face, or has the team already lost control of its own process? Comment your take below, and if you believe Hamilton is the architect Ferrari needs, make it clear. #stand with Lewis. Subscribe, because the next race won't just test speed, it will test who truly leads inside the Scuderia.